Hey everyone, welcome back to Curtis's Corner. If you're new here, hi, and thank you for stumbling into this little corner of chaos. And if you've been here before, welcome back. You're basically trapped with me now like a haunted doll in the Conjuring universe. Now, this channel is all about reviews, reactions, and me talking way too much about horror, movies, and everything in between. Today, we are tackling The Long Walk, which is probably one of the bleakest, most draining, yet strangely beautiful survival thrillers that I've ever seen in years. And trust me, this one doesn't just tug at your heartstrings, it yanks them like Freddy, dragging you straight into a nightmare. Now, before we dive in, quick reminders. Check out last week's spoiler-free review of The Conjuring Last Rites if you haven't already. If you enjoy this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss the next Scream Fest. If you want even more, such as bloopers, unedited reviews, behind-the-scenes chaos, and even helping me pick what movies I cover next, my Patreon is open. It is cheap, it is fun, and honestly, it keeps me caffeinated enough to survive movies like this one. And here is the campy cherry on top. I am competing to be the next face of Halloween. Now I've made it to round 3, and I need to place in the top 10 to move on. You can vote once a day for free, or donate votes through the Starlight Children's Foundation, which brings toys, games, and fun hospital wear to seriously ill kids. It's an incredible cause, and if I win, I get to meet literal horror legends. Kane Hodder, Jason Voorhees himself, Jamie Lee Curtis, the Scream Queen of Scream Queens, and the chaotic slasher energy we all love, Matthew Lillard. So, if you want to help me live my campy horror fantasy, the link is in the description. So, what is The Long Walk? It's a dystopian survival thriller directed by Francis Lawrence, based on Stephen King's 1979 novel. It stars Cooper Hoffman, David Jonsson, Tut Nyuot, Garrett Wareing, Charlie Plummer, Ben Wang, and Mark Hamill. The premise is simple but brutal. 50 boys are chosen in a lottery to compete in a national walking contest. They have to keep a pace above 3 miles per hour with no breaks and no rests. They get 3 warnings before they are permanently removed from the race. The last one standing wins whatever his heart desires. Now, this film does not hide its cards. It wants you to feel the grind, the pain, the dread. It is emotionally raw. It's physically punishing. It drags you step after step. If you show up expecting something light, you will leave drained. But if you come ready, it rewards you with something visceral and powerful. It mixes bleakness and hope sparingly. There are brief comedic moments, bits of dark humor, small absurdities that give you a chance to breathe. They don't undercut the horror, they highlight it. It's like when the Conjuring universe lets you laugh for a second before pulling the rug with a scare. The laughs are fleeting, which makes the silence and the weight slam back harder. Francis Lawrence's direction is familiar if you've seen his Hunger Games films, but this one is sharper, bleaker, and way more grounded. The walking scenes feel relentless, almost like a ritual. The tension between the boys becomes as heavy as the footsteps. The violence is not glamorized. It's ugly, shocking, sometimes stomach-turning. And it's not just the violence. The film shows the less pleasant realities of being human under extreme strain. It strips away polish, so you're left with sweat, blood, exhaustion, and other unpleasant visuals of bodily fluids. Visually, it leans into muted, washed-out tones. The fields, highways, and back roads shot in a way that feels both wide open and suffocating. The close-ups are where it hurts though. Cracked lips, strained breathing, shaking muscles. You don't just watch, you feel it. Now let's get into the performances. Cooper Hoffman, playing Ray Garrity, is the anchor. He is the lens we experience most of the walk through, and he never once feels like an actor playing a part. Every laugh, every crack in his voice, every silent stare down the road, it all feels lived in. You root for him, not because he's written as a savior figure, but because he reacts the way any of us might if dropped into this nightmare. His exhaustion is real, his gratitude for fleeting friendships is genuine, and his quiet moments of doubt make him painfully relatable. David Jonsson, as Peter McVeigh, is the voice of reason, the emotional glue holding much of the group together. His dry wit and sharp tongue keep the others moving, but underneath, you can sense a man hiding more pain than he's willing to admit. He mixes his words with compassion and blunt honesty, and though it can hurt, it never misses the mark. He feels like the one who sees the bigger picture, not just of the walk, but of life itself. And his quiet strength keeps the film from collapsing under its own despair. Garrett Wareing, as Stebbins, spends much of the runtime kind of lingering in the background. But the second the camera gives him focus, he commands it. He has this quiet confidence, this sense that he knows more than he's letting on. His performance reveals layers in increments, so you don't fully grasp who he is until the crucial moments. He's not flashy, but he doesn't need to be. He is proof that stillness can be just as powerful as spectacle. Tut Nyuot, as Arthur Baker, is the unexpected standout. He embodies truth, but more importantly, he embodies hope. He's spiritual without being sanctimonious, and that balance makes him both likable and believable. His kindness feels effortless, and when his convictions are tested, you see growth that feels rewarding instead of forced. He gives the film a much-needed heartbeat, someone you immediately want to trust, and his presence makes the group feel more human. Charlie Plummer as Gary Barkovich plays the designated antagonist, but thankfully not in a one-note way. He's arrogant, brash, and cruel, but you can see the cracks in that armor. There's a why behind the behavior, and that keeps him from being just another cliche bully. His anger feels born of fear, his violence born of desperation. You don't excuse him, but you understand that he is another casualty of this twisted system. Ben Wang as Hank Olsen is the comic relief, but never just the comic relief. He uses humor as a shield, and you feel the tension every time the jokes stop. He brings levity when the movie desperately needs it, but the vulnerability underneath those quips makes him one of the most relatable characters. He's the friend who hides his fear by making you laugh, and when his mask slips, it's devastating. Joshua Ojic as Collie Parker doesn't get as much space as some of the others, but still, he makes his mark. His arc is quicker, more sudden, but it shows just how corrosive this game really is. You see the walk take its toll on him, the way his reactions shift, the way his spirit bends. Even in his limited moments, he embodies the idea that not every breakdown looks the same. And Mark Hamill as the Major, chilling. He doesn't need paragraphs of backstory or big villain monologues. His authority is cold, unfeeling, and absolute. He treats the walk as entertainment, a game for the powerful, and his smug detachment makes him more terrifying than any horror ghost. He's not overplayed, he's not cartoonish, he's simply a wall of cruelty, and that restraint makes him unforgettable. Now, at its core, this film is about connection. Friendships forged under impossible conditions. The fleeting moments of joy that mean more because everything else is stripped away. It asks brutal questions. How far can you go on hope alone? What happens when your body screams stop, but your will forces you on? The walk itself becomes a metaphor for life's relentless push forward. And emotionally, it's devastating. Unless you're made of stone or the Tin Man, you are going to cry. The film makes you care about these boys quickly and then pulls them away with little warning. The short emotional beats sting and the long ones destroy. One particular loss lingered so long that it actually wrecked me. By the end, you don't just feel sad, you feel drained, emptied, and somehow grateful that you were able to walk beside them. Now, with all of that being said, I'm giving The Long Walk an A+. It is unrelenting, haunting, and deeply human. The film hits hard because it's not about monsters. It is about people, their limits, their choices, and the fragile bonds that they build under impossible pressure. The only real negatives are a couple of characters who could have used more development, but that is a small note in an otherwise powerful experience. This is heavy and draining, but it stays with you long after the credits. Absolutely worth every step. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next Screamfest. Share this video with anyone who loves horror or just enjoys watching me emotionally unravel on camera. If you want more chaos, unedited reviews, bloopers, behind the scenes moments, and the power to help steer what movies I cover next, check out my Patreon. It keeps this channel alive and keeps me caffeinated enough to survive movies like this. And don't forget, I am competing to be the next face of Halloween. Vote for me once a day for free, or toss in some extra votes if you're feeling generous. Every single vote pushes me closer to meeting horror icons like Kane Hodder, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Matthew Lillard, which is basically my gay little horror Olympics. So hit that link in the description, cast your vote, and help me live out the ultimate slasher fan fantasy. I will catch you in the next one, but until then, keep walking. But maybe not as far as these poor kids.